Plaintiff Frazier Goer says he's been good friends with the defendant for 10 years, and they both like to party. Frazier claims one night they were at a bar, and after the defendant got in a fight with some of Frazier's friends, he stole Frazier's car and crashed it into a parked car. So he's suing. Defendant Nathan Passo says the first time he met Frazier was when he brought LSD to Nathan's house, and they took the acid together. Nathan admits crashing Frazier's car, but claims Frazier should have had insurance on it, and he's countersuing for defamation.
Start with you.
All right, Your Honor, I've known the defendant, Nathan Passo, for about 10 years. Been really good friends. We like to party, hang out. He always knows where the party's at, or I know where the party's at. He gets really drunk. I don't know, sometimes. Pretty regularly.
Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week?
This is, 10 years ago every day, but lately,
Okay. So you alcoholic and what now?
I'm not an alcoholic, Your Honor.
I say you used to be.
I don't know, yeah.
Okay. So what now?
So he gets...
No, I'm talking about the alcohol.
Alcohol?
Yeah, you say you used to drink every day, so now I'm asking, how often do you drink?
I don't know, every couple of days.
Okay. So you went from every day to every couple. Does that make you half an alcoholic, or?
I don't need alcohol. I just like it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Passo Nathan gets really, really drunk.
As do you.
Yeah, well, he gets to, the point where he's, stumbling and falling and crashing his bicycle. We even joke, oh, that's just Chuck, he'll pass out. Don't worry about it. It's his alter ego when he's, mumbling and you can't understand him. He's a really good guy, though, when he's sober.
You guys work?
What? Work?
You work? Yeah. Jobs?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. You work also?
Yes, I am currently employed, which he is not.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember the last time he's had a job.
Right, makes sense. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, get on with your case.
Anyways, flash forward to the day after New Year's 2004. My friend Ben, he called me and he's like, my car's broke down. I fix cars sometimes for people too. And so I go and check out the car and I give him a jump start and it just won't start. And I'm like, dude, it's probably a starter. And I was like, dude, I'll just buy it. I'll give you $500 for it. You don't want to deal with this car. So I gave him the $500. Next day, I put in the starter, and then the day after that, I talked to a friend of me and Nathan's, Aaliyah. I'm like, hey, she had this little crappy car, and she's got a kid, and so I was like, I just got this car. You want to buy it? And she's like, yeah, come over to my house. At the time, Nathan was, staying at her house. So I go, and, we're hanging out there, and I hadn't seen, it's wintertime, you don't really get to see each other very often. It's cold, people don't get out. So we're, hanging out.
Where do you guys live?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
South side.
You should stay in. Well, you say South Side like that. That represents, what does that represent?
It's just a neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
It's just where I kick it at.
Oh, where the alcoholics live? Is that? I don't understand.
Hey, man, it gets cold in the winter, man. There's alcoholics everywhere in Minnesota.
More of Judge Mathis in a moment.
When you talking about somebody defaming you, hitting and running, getting drunk every day, taking LSD.
I didn't say I get drunk every day.
Every other, whatever.
Excuse me, sir, that was him.
All right, how often do you get drunk?
Quite a bit.
Of her own teen.
He wanted to make a stop in the crack neighborhood. I said no, and he got violent.
How many times has he been to jail?
I'd say about 7.
Wednesday on Judge Mathis.
Plaintiff Frazier Goer is suing his former friend, who claims the first time they ever met was when Frazier brought LSD to his home.
Let me hear your side before we get to the details of the car he's suing you about.
Well, first off, Your Honor, I've known him for about
stumbling,
10
drunk?
years, and the first time I ever met him, he came to my house and woke me up with acid.
With what?
LSD. Yeah, I was staying with my friend. He comes and hey, do some of this with me. And I was like, okay, why not? So that's the first time I met Frazier. And we became really good friends after a while. But the whole thing is, after all this...
What experience did that provide? LSD, do you hallucinate, or?
It was weird.
All right, well, the reason I say that, I always like to stay on top of all the illegal drug abuse so that I'm able to interpret things when they come before me. So that's why I wanted you all to give me some insight. What did it do to you, LSD? Not permanently. We know that you have some. We know that you have some permanent issues from a variety of your.
Yeah, no, I don't. I just passed out right away.
Okay. Did you hallucinate?
I had some sweet dreams.
All right, so you met him when he brought some LSD over. You all took the LSD, became friends thereafter, then what?
Then the night of the accident, I like to say, is me and Frazier decided to get a bottle of Tanqueray, Wild Irish Rose, and a 40. And we watched a movie, we watched 2 movies, and we drank
now, see, they do a lot of that in urban America. Yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Wild Irish Rose 2020? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mad Dog.
Mad Dog 2020?
And we drank all this booze, and we decided, hey, let's go see what Aaliyah's doing. Let's go hang out with her, because we don't get to see her too often. So we're driving. Mind you, he's intoxicated. Driving. We pick her up. We're still driving on our way to another bar, because we wanted to drink some more.
Whose car are we in now?
The car he bought from the person, which he never transferred the title in or had insured. Okay. So,
here's the one he's suing you for, so I'm gonna let him tell me how this lawsuit came about.
Okay, yeah. So we go over there and we're hanging out, you know, drinking. I get a phone call from a lady friend of mine, and she's like, hey, I'm at this bar, you guys should come down here. And so we go, and Aaliyah, she doesn't drink at the time, and So she's like, I'll be the designated driver, it's cool. Anyways, we go to the bar, we're hanging out, having a good time, you know, and I ran into some old friends of mine from high school, like 2 guys I haven't seen in probably about 4 or 5 years. And so I'm jumping over to their table, and I'm going back and forth and back and forth.
Did you graduate from high school?
Yes, I did.
All right, good. Go ahead.
He didn't.
He didn't?
So we're bouncing back and forth.
I got a GED.
All right. Yeah, and you have a job.
Yes.
He doesn't. Go ahead.
So we're bouncing back and forth between tables, and I come back to the table, and my lady friend, she's like, man, he's really drunk, and he's hitting on me. Nathan comes back, and I start dude, why we get into a scuffle over it. So we're arguing, yelling at each other. It wasn't physical at this point. We're just yelling at each other, and the bouncer came over and go outside, go outside. So anyways, we get into a scuffle. He ended up throwing something at my friends, and I had to grab him. I ended up punching him, and I threw him in the back of the car. We're yelling and screaming. Anyways, me and my lady friend get dropped off at my house, and then he went to Aaliyah's house where he was staying at, and he stole the keys from Aaliyah at her house. Okay, and then he drove it over to northeast Minneapolis to a friend of his house. I don't really know them. And apparently, when he was leaving, he ran into a telephone pole. Okay. And then apparently the people...
You have pictures and estimates of the damage?
See, that's the thing about when it got pulled over, the car got impounded.
All right, let me hear from you, sir.
I don't really remember as much. I was blacked out and took the car and drove around and crashed into a few cars.
All right, so what's your defense to not paying today?
He didn't have the car in his name. He didn't have insurance. I wasn't involved. I was involved. Yes, I did crash it. And it was wrong, it was messed up, but my name wasn't, I wasn't supposed to go to court. He didn't talk to me for a while after this happened. You weren't supposed to go to court. So I get a call from him, or no, I get home at 5 o'clock in the morning one day, and there's a note saying, call Frazier. I called Frazier, and he's like, you gotta be to court with me at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go to court with you at 10 o'clock tomorrow because
I don't know what all this has to do with you paying for the damage. Let's see your estimate. You have to show me something before you get a $4,000 judgment.
Well, see, what the deal is he didn't show up for the court date.
Well, estimate.
Well, this is the judgment for the vehicle that he ran into.
Oh, you received a judgment. And you are suing him for the vehicle that he hit.
I'm suing for both of the vehicles.
All right.
The vehicle he ran into and the vehicle that was mine that got crashed.
And the judgment I have here is for...
That is for the court date that he did not show up for.
I understand.
I had never gotten
anything in the mail. What do you have for yours, sir?
Go to court.
Mine, I have...
Yes, the damages you're suing.
I have the...
With regard to what happened to your car.
It's a Blue Book value of it, and Your Honor, that's current. This was 4 years ago.
Judge Mathis will be right back.